Perfect. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I have a very special guest I have been wanting to share with you. She is a very special light worker. She is a teacher. She is a personal mentor and friend to me. Rina Lichtinger, Ishwari, rather, and we're going to get into that, her Sanskrit name. So I want to tell you a little bit about her before we begin. Ishwari is a light worker and author who supports people's awakening to their divine plans. She is a compassionate ordained minister, a clairvoyant, and for the more than the past 25 years, she has channeled divine healing energy, resulting in deep physical, emotional, and spiritual transformation for more than 13,000 clients. So during this time, she has been a leading spiritual and advanced yoga and meditation teacher at the 500-hour level. In 2000, the American Cancer Society honored Rina as Woman of the Year for her commitment to helping abused children, which included raising more than $250,000 for that important cause. So today, Ishwari now shares her inspirational stories and messages through her writing with a broader audience. She is the author of the currently published memoir of beloved dog loss and the afterlife called Paws of Love, Transforming Grief to Empowerment, 7 Spiritual Practices, as well as the highly praised spiritually channeled books, Visions of Light, which I have read, and The Enchanted Land, a healing story for children. Rina is a very respected spiritual leader in her South Florida community, and she was given the Sanskrit name Ishwari by the late, widely acclaimed yogi Mukunda Stiles, which we will talk about. So the name reflects an encompassing, compassionate, powerful goddess energy. She is dedicated to serve and bring the new reality of we consciousness to others. And again, she is also my Reiki master. I did my Reiki 2 with her, my dear friend, my mentor, and my earth angel, Rina, that I believe you were guided to me. And I was thinking today, I was like remembering, how did I meet Rina? And it was at Yoga for Life. Remember you did
Yes, yes.
it was a chakra healing workshop. And it was one of the first chakra workshops that I had ever been to. And of course, I was immediately, your light was so bright. And I felt a connection to you pretty much immediately. And I knew I was like, this is my next teacher. And I know you and I have always talked about when the student's ready, the teacher arrives, and that's kind of how my path has been along my spiritual journey. And you have been such a special light and mentor, and witnessing your own commitment to service has been so inspiring. But for my listeners and for me, I don't think I've ever asked you, I want to go take me back to little Rina weren't you were born in Mexico, right? Or New Mexico?
Mexico City.
In Mexico City. And did you grow up? Was it a religious household? Was it spiritual? What was it like growing
You
up? What were
know,
you taught?
well, growing up in my home is a big city. I grew up basically with the Jewish faith at that
Uh-huh.
time, and my mom was also always very spiritual, but more like psychic. Um,
Oh,
but my grandma, I come from a linear. My grandma came from Russia. My mom was born in Russia, and they moved to Mexico when they were little. And so I was born in Mexico City, and grew up in there until I was about 18. Then we moved to California, the whole family,
okay. Yeah.
and first time living in the US. And I've been there 2 years in San Diego. And from
Mm-hmm.
there, I got married with my husband from Mexico City also. He's
Oh,
50
how
years
beautiful.
old.
Now, did you guys met in California?
No, we knew each other in
From
Mexico,
okay, okay.
but he went to be a doctor to do his residency in Miami at Jackson Memorial Hospital. So he went one way, and I went all the way to San Diego. So we were coast to coast. But we
Wow.
kept in touch,
Oh,
in love. 2 years after we got married, when he came to visit, and we realized we were in love. So we moved to
oh.
Miami.
And that's what brought you to Miami.
That's what brought us to Miami.
And was there a, do you remember looking back, was there a pivotal moment along your journey of faith that led you, pointed you in the direction of yoga and meditation? And how
Yeah.
did your family, was your family okay with that? I grew up in a Catholic home.
Okay. No, my
And
family were not that okay with it.
ah,
Mom, kind of, but my dad, no.
yeah.
Because I remember we went as a family to a club med,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a yoga class outdoors with
Ah,
this really skinny, very fit older man with white hair. And at that time, I was doing a lot of taking jazz, choreographed dancing for a few years,
oh, I love it.
and jogging and tennis, all kind of physical activities.
Yeah.
But after that yoga class, I was immersed in a different energy, and I started looking into yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Something shifted in me. I felt that was home for me. I couldn't even have words to describe it, but felt like I want to know more about this path.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, we were living in Fort Lauderdale, not in Miami,
Ah, yep.
and I discovered um, Shivananda Yoga downtown. I,
Mm.
probably you've been there
Yes.
with Mohini and Shams. And for 7 years, I was going to
Wow.
Shivananda Yoga.
Oh.
And I fell in love with it. I have another friend from Healing Touch, Christine, that she was very much following Siddha Yoga, which is,
Mm-hmm.
very highly esteemed from traditions in yoga, with the
Yeah.
gurus and all those things. And when I went to visit an ashram in Fort Lauderdale for dinner first time, I really connected in the library. I was looking at all the books, and
Yeah.
actually, one book fell into my hands, and that was From Infinite to Finite from Swami Muktananda. And I had
Oh.
dreamt that night with the deity Lakshmi, and I have no idea, goddess of beauty, of singing, of so many qualities. And I had no idea how I was connecting with all of this at this simultaneously.
Yeah.
I started meditating, and so it was like I knew it was
It's like
my
a
path,
calling, like a
totally my
calling.
calling. And I was earlier in the stages of meditation. I did a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful meditation with a tape from Stephen Halperin, actually, with one of
Wow.
my friends, Jacqueline Ripson, that she's a holistic, beautiful artist. She paints angels, and she
Mm-hmm.
said, let's meditate. And that shifted totally my belief system into God and the creation and the yoga. And I went out of body actually for an hour.
Wow.
And it was one of those things that I saw the earth, I saw the planet, I had a rebirth, I saw myself before being born, and I heard God.
Mm-hmm.
I self ego person Rina disappeared. It was not me. It was a true self, my spiritual self that I realized. Uh, Judaism is beautiful, has so many traditions, but that was my household.
Yeah.
I consider myself a Jewish person, but I do
Yeah.
not follow the traditions.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's how I
Rina,
am.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love Christ too, and I love Buddha, and I love so many things because I feel that each one of them is a deity that came to the planet with a beautiful gift, you know. And so I will call myself universal, spiritual
Mm-hmm.
self. Um, After that out of body, when I heard God, I didn't want to come back.
Ah.
I literally wanted to stay in the higher realms. And God said, it's not your time. You cannot stay here.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt in duality, you know, knowing that you want to be somewhere else, but yet that's not the way. And it
Right.
took many years to really embrace the fact that I could be on earth and in sacred ground for souls to expand and to grow. Because if we don't have the human experience, the flourishing of the soul cannot evolve either, because
Right.
it's our vessel, and we're embracing this vessel, you know, so we cannot deny it either. Um, that moment changed everything. I
Yeah.
was very diligent, you know, doing pranayama, breath work, and waking up 4 or 5 in the morning every day, meditating, then doing my practice. It didn't stop. I
Wow.
still meditate about an hour daily.
Do you? Okay. I
Yeah,
was going to ask you, what is
every day I
your
meditate.
daily meditation
Yeah.
practice? Yeah.
Um, so my life shifted, and then came, of course, the energy work. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. And this is what we mean when we say we consciousness. It's
Yes,
realizing your true self connected
right.
to that. And I always tell people, whatever I use the word God, but whatever people want to call it, consciousness, universal
Creator,
consciousness,
divine
creator,
source,
source,
universal intelligence,
the all-encompassing energy of
of
love.
course, Father, Mother, God, all of it
Yeah.
into
This is what
one.
we mean when we say we consciousness. And I love that you said we have to embrace our human experience as well, because that's been I've been kind of working with that recently, honoring no, I can float way up there all the time in my upper
I know, I
chakras.
remember, I
I'm
know.
just way up there and I have to stay. I have to actively do my grounding practices and remember, Lisa, you're here. You have to
Yeah,
remember to live in your human self, and you can't float up there all the time. And it's important that we embrace our humanity and have the human experience because, like you said, we were born into this vessel, this
we
house
chose, Lisa.
we
Our soul
chose,
chose to
and to
have,
have these lessons.
yes, lessons, it's experiences. The
Hmm.
what we call good and bad is not exactly good and bad. They're just lessons for us to acknowledge, to learn from it, to be grateful, to say thank you, and then help another person be compassionate when they're having a similar situation or something they want to confide, you know, or shift energetically. So
Hmm.
I found it so beautiful that all of these gifts
It
makes you
is so
stronger and
beautiful.
more clear, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. And you were guided to take the yoga teacher training. Where did you take your yoga teacher training?
Well, I took a lot of yoga teacher training. My first one,
We, yeah,
we all did,
yeah.
okay,
It
my
opens the
first,
door and then we don't stop.
right.
Yeah.
One of my first 200 hours was in Fort Lauderdale with Yogi Mark Roberts.
Hmm.
Then I did also 200 hours with Sarandan and Ananda Yoga in Fort
Wow.
Lauderdale.
Oh, wow.
Then we went to embrace Bala Vinyasa with Baptiste, Power Yoga, another certification.
Wow.
There's more. Then I took Karma Kids Yoga, another
Oh,
certification.
yeah, yeah.
And then I met with a very well respected author, Wheels of Light, Anodea Judith,
Oh,
that I
you
have.
did.
Yes, I went to New York to take
I
immersion with her.
She's
And then,
amazing. I have her books right over here on my
yes, yeah,
shelf.
that was one of my first
Oh
books,
my
is the
goodness.
Bible of the chakras.
Love
It's
that
so
book.
beautiful, profound. So Anodea Judith and Todd Norian created a
Oh.
program. We went to Kripalu,
Hmm.
and for a whole week, we did advanced chakra yoga teacher training. So my teacher training came with Anodea Judith.
Oh my goodness.
And then also I spent 1 week with Nathan Kaur at Kripalu with doing only Kundalini chanting and yoga.
How beautiful. I did
So
not realize you did that. Kapalu is on my list.
it's wonderful. And then, with the sound healing, I went to integral yoga.
Mm-hmm.
That's at Chitananda Ashram. I stayed a week. And Jonathan Goldman and Andy, his wife, she's a psychologist, they did vibrational sound healing training. So
Yeah.
I've been so blessed with so many incredible teachers. I mean, I had the opportunity
Wow.
to be with Rodney Yee, with David Swenson, with Rod
Mm-hmm.
Stryker, so many,
Wow.
Leanne Prescott, one of my beautiful teachers also, she's in
Mm-hmm.
Michigan. So many beautiful souls. Um,
Wow. And along that path, what point did your Sanskrit name come to you? Ishwari, which is so
yeah,
beautiful.
it's I get just
I
goosebumps.
know, I do too.
It's my true self. We were taking a yoga, another yoga course in Kripalu.
Mm-hmm.
And it was more about alignment with your body and, you know, um, helping you get deeper into your practice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my teacher was Mukunda Sykes, that he wrote the Sutras of Patanjali.
Yeah.
And before the class, I would see him very quiet in the corner, embracing this peace. This light came around him, and he was like almost sobbing. And I went like, oh my God, it's Guru. Guru is there. And I didn't know his lineage until he had his book signing. And I love sutras of Patanjali.
Mm-hmm.
So I, of course, bought his book, and he's such a scholar. And I said, can I ask you where is your lineage, or do you have a guru? Would you mind sharing? And he says it's Siddha Yoga. It was Swami Muktananda. And I mean, directly from Swami Muktananda. So
Oh my
I have
goodness.
had so many experiences in that sense with Swami Muktananda. And so I share a little story with him. He was very sweet. And I asked him, would you please give me my Sanskrit name? Because from all the teachers I had, I never asked. Oh, I forgot, very good teacher,
Mm-hmm.
Jayadeva. Jayadev is my Ashtanga yoga teacher. He's
Oh
in
my
Miami at the
goodness.
Standard Hotel. I love Jayadev. Jai.
Wow.
I have to remember him because he's
Mm-hmm.
such a Krishna devotee. Um, and Mukunda had that quality of a deep, deep devotee student love. So he held my hands. He gave me Shaktipa. For people who are maybe not familiar, what Shaktipa means is the highest vibration that another teacher can transfer to you.
Okay.
He held my hands and he looked into my eyes and he says, he wrote Ishwari. And then he gave me
Oh,
my name.
wow.
So I still, embrace that feeling. Is like I'm one with him just when I repeat my name.
Oh, how
And I like
beautiful.
it when, in the yoga community, like I always love that you call me Ishwari because
Yes.
it resonates with me.
That's your higher self.
That's my higher self.
That's your higher self.
Yeah. So that's where it came from.
And when you sit in meditation daily, what does that look like? Is it in complete? Because sometimes I feel like I want to do a guided meditation. Sometimes I am guided to do contemplative prayer, which is basically stillness with the breath, with God. Do you have a favorite form of meditation?
I
Or
have
is it
two.
chanting, the Vedic chanting I know is meaningful to you?
I love doing chanting with my harmonium, but when I meditate,
Mm-hmm.
many years ago, I will do pranayama, then I will do, alternate nostril breathing, kapalabhati, and then after alternate nostril breathing, I will
Yes,
sit
that's my
down.
favorite.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it balances the right and left brain, and the
Mm-hmm.
solar energy, the lunar energy, Shushumna Nadi, that is our spiritual spine. It cannot get lit up with this beautiful light. Nowadays, I will sit in silence uh,
Mm-hmm.
and go within. I also do like a long shavasana meditation, whereas I will just play one of my soft music,
Mm-hmm.
sing either crystal balls or different authors or musicians that I like. And I use like a lavender pillow in my eyes, and I just disappear for an hour. It's
That's
like
beautiful.
restoring my chakras, my aura. I'm still meditating,
Yeah.
but I also have a crystal mat that I use if I'm laying down just
Oh,
to
beautiful.
compose. It
I
has
need to get one of those.
it has tourmaline and aquamarine. It has infrared. I warm it up. Feels wonderful, and that because of the heat is such a restorative way of relaxing your physical body.
Mm-hmm.
So I will stay probably an hour.
Oh, how
So
beautiful.
sitting down whenever I come back, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But I feel the most important thing is to do it, to be diligent with yourself.
Yeah.
When you're in that state of grace and inner peace, everything flows. Doesn't matter
It
what
affects
you're
me. I
doing,
notice if I fall off
right?
of my practice, I feel it. I feel less of a flow. I feel impatient or
That,
I'm more reactive. And I know and I'll look back and go, "Oh, you know what? I didn't do my meditation, enough this week."
but you know
And
what, Lisa? That's exactly
yeah.
the same for all of us. Doesn't matter. I mean, for now, I guess it's 30 something years I've been on this path of meditation, and yoga. And doesn't matter how you age, doesn't
Yeah.
matter what age you are. Perhaps some postures, the physical body is not going to respond the same. Like full
Mm-hmm.
lotus doesn't happen anymore, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so Padmasana doesn't happen, doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Um, the main thing is to keep the mind quiet and that serene energy, because I see myself reacting
Yeah.
as well. We think that we're immortal and we're enlightened. I feel every day it's a little miracle.
Mm.
And every decision we take is upon our heart aspiration. So we aspire to be healthy, to be happy, to be at peace, all of that with self. If
Yes.
we don't honor ourselves, nothing flows surrounding us, because then the vibration that we emanate to another human being is unsettling instead of calming and kind. And we need
Everything.
that. The planet needs that. All of the yogis in the planet, every light worker, every seeker of the light, we need that.
We need that. And is that's I was going to say for more than 30 years you're doing this, that is your commitment to it. What drives you is that anchoring the planet, raising the vibration,
The
helping
planet,
others
yeah,
connect too. And it's so beautiful. I forgot when it was, but I've read your book, Visions of
lovely.
Light. And tell me that, how did Visions of Light happen? How did you say, I'm going to write a book? That's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you so much.
And it's beautiful and the book is beautiful.
Thank you, Lisa.
I love
You
it.
know, uh, when I started meditating, I was tapping into different energies when I was asleep. But for about 15 years or more, every day I was awake at 4 in the morning. Like I will hear a voice and I will start doing automatic writing. My husband calls it the elders. I call them the guides.
I
And
love
I
that.
will just very fast write whatever they were saying.
Hmm.
Um, and then the next day I will take my time to read it and I will go like, oh my God, where is this coming from? What is this? Um, I will transfer it the best of my abilities to a computer, put a date and a name that they gave me. And I kept on keeping all this information. But I didn't have the courage or strength to really put it in writing because, you know, sometimes spiritual authors are misunderstood,
Yeah.
in the sense that it wasn't me or my higher self, it was my ascended masters and guides who were giving me the information. I was
Hmm.
just transcribing. Part of you is still self, but a lot of the information is not self and it's not your mind and it's not your ego. So when I was teaching yoga at Namaste Yoga Salon in Pompano, the
Oh,
owner
mhm.
at that time, Susan, she always brought all kind of readers and Sikhs and a lot of spiritual people for people to have different experiences. And at that time, she says, "Oh, I have somebody who's gonna come." So I asked for a reading. Her name is Sherry Lord, and
Yes.
she looked at me and she said, "Where's your book?" My God is saying, "You have to write back." And
Oh,
I say, "Well, it's there, but it's not in a format that I'm ready for." So she says, "Yes, you're ready. They're telling me the world needs it, you need it, and you have to write it." So I say, "Well, I do have the name for a long time. It's Visions of Light, the Power of Letting Go Spiritual Evolution." And she didn't say anything else. I said, "Go home and write. Put it
oh,
together."
oh my
She
goodness.
looked at me and said, "Okay, just do your job." Uh,
Wow.
so I sat down for a whole year,
Oh my goodness.
every day for hours and hours
Hmm.
and hours. Um, I'm just asking God, my angels, my guides, to guide me into the right format because I nobody really helped me with this.
Yeah.
It's self published.
Yeah, when you read it, you feel the vibration, the high frequency. And there's
Right?
one thing that you wrote in it that has always stuck
Tell
with
me,
me,
tell me.
and it's the light is not in the body. The body is within the light. And
Yeah,
that was
it,
so that just hit me like it was so profound when I read it.
yeah,
I think I must have just sat there that night when I read that line over and over and over and over. And it was
it
like,
resonates
it
with you.
resonated with me. Something clicked that night when I read it. And I felt it. I just felt the energy of that truth. It was truth. You know, the truth lands differently.
Yeah.
You feel the truth, through and through. And when I read it, I said that's it.
Well, my goal of writing it is for any seeker, for anybody who is trying to connect, because it's a higher vibration
Mm-hmm.
and they may not understand every word as words, but as a whole, the
Mm-hmm.
feeling when you finish writing one of the messages or randomly open it or go from the beginning to the end, there's no right and there's no wrong.
Right.
It's like Louise Hay has this book of beautiful daily affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
I still use that book because I love
Yes.
it. So I go,
Yes.
okay, what's my message today?
I
And in
love
the
it.
same sense, something really beautiful happened actually a week ago. I decided to read my book from the beginning to the end
I
as an
love
observer. I
that.
was like, oh my God. I was
Oh
like,
my
because
gosh.
when you're typing it and writing the computer and giving the chapters and the pages and all the
Yes.
stuff, it's too much information. You bring it down to the paper.
Mm-hmm.
But when I finished, I felt God, thank you so much for letting me be an instrument.
And that's exactly what you are, a
Thank you, Lisa.
vessel of love that flowed through you. And I love that you said, I think it's so true because along our path, when you, just like any relationship, here's how I view it. Our journey of faith, you have to nourish it. I tell people, just like we water your plant,
Sure.
you have to feed your faith. You have to nourish your spiritual journey, by doing your practices, your daily sadhana, your prayer, your
So
meditations,
important.
and reading books has been a big part of my journey. I've always loved reading, and but what I find is there may along your journey as you're growing and your faith is deepening, there you might read a book 1 year and it doesn't really land, but maybe a few years later you read it again and something hits you in a
Right,
different way.
right.
And so I've have been re going back and rereading certain books, and then they land differently and I get something different, but it's because I had to evolve to a higher frequency, I think, to really grasp
That's
it,
exactly what it is.
you know?
I feel that everybody who's a spiritual author and writing something for people to connect,
Mm-hmm.
um, to feel united, to
Yeah.
give them inspiration or strength or a value or virtue,
Mm-hmm.
so they can start in their own path.
Right.
Because it's like a chain. You start with a thought, then you
Mm-hmm.
embrace it and you share it.
Yeah. Do you have, do you remember looking back, do you have a favorite spiritual author, teacher, or a book that stays at your bedside table? Like, I want to, oh, and I have so many questions for you, but I want to ask you, did
Awesome.
you ever go through or read at all, or do you currently read A Course in Miracles?
I did once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't read it anymore.
Yeah.
I loved it
Yeah.
thoroughly.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. It's a beautiful course.
Yeah.
Um,
It speaks to me a lot about fear because fear has been a big part of my,
mhm,
letting go of fear and
right.
just dropping into faith. That one is a good one for me. And A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson.
Oh, of course, of course. That was my first book of prayer,
Ah,
and I still love that book.
mm-hmm.
I embrace her prayer in such a deep way, but mainly San Francis of Assisi is still my favorite prayer.
Yes,
Lord, let me be an instrument of
of
thy.
your peace. I have a little
Yeah,
sign in my yoga room over here. Lord, make me
yeah,
an instrument of
yeah.
your peace. And I've been,
So
mm-hmm.
I, you know, I don't keep that many books next
Yep.
to me. I have some little books from Sachitananda Ashram
Oh,
with
how
thoughts of
special.
Sachitananda with some daily meditations, little thought, inspiration. I do have my yoga sutras from Integral Yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How beautiful.
it's next to my bed. So I read different things along the way. I haven't read like many authors for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I do like Deepak Chopra. I
I do
like
too.
podcasts and meditations. I read most of his books. I think he has a new one.
I think he does too. Yeah.
Probably I will read that one. But there's I will know if there's another teacher that
Mm-hmm.
will unfold. I read so many books in yoga. I
Yeah.
mean, I think, oh my God, I think older books, from different lineages like Johari Harish
Mm-hmm.
with the chakras, he has written like 700 books. I mean, he's an incredible deep thinker,
Yeah.
of yoga, or what is the other one? Oh my God, I went blank.
What do you think of the current, because today here we are in our
Mm.
world of social media, of everything. There's so much information out there, and spirituality can get into the hands of, I don't know, people who may or may not have good intentions, right? What do you think of the current fascination with manifestation and frequency? But manifestation can be such a trendy thing.
Okay, that's a great question, Lisa. There's an, let's call it new age,
Uh-huh.
new age, younger generation of people who think spirituality is doing a bypass of spirituality by trying some psychedelics, some other stuff, or having another experience, which bypass. I'm not saying that is right or wrong. I'm just saying it's an experience of their soul, and that's fine.
Right.
Um, but it bypasses your evolution as a meditator or a yoga practice, something that is a discipline that leads you to that enlightenment. For myself, I had Kundalini awakening. I remember what it felt. Oh my God. I mean,
Can you
sometimes
tell me about that? What was that like? Because I don't think I have had one.
intense, very intense.
Yeah.
One day, I started feeling a lot of heat in my whole spine.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like burning sensation, like your body's gonna explode.
Wow.
Um, and all my muscles were hurting. They were moving in very weird, like contractions. I had
Mm.
contractions in my belly, in my leg. I don't
And
know.
was this after you were sitting in your own personal meditation?
It just happened. I was just at
Yeah.
home. It just
Yep.
happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought, okay, let me hug a tree or do Shakti shakes, when you shake the energy down to
Yes.
the earth and different things, pranayama. No, it wasn't going away. Um, I called one of my friends with Healing Touch practitioner, my friend Marsha Gill. I said, Marsha, I need some energy work. I don't know what's happening, but I need help. I don't understand what is happening, but I'm burning up inside. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
um, it feels like you have fever, very high fever,
Yeah.
and then your mind, you cannot think. It's like you're in this deep state of meditation, but the physical body is doing something else. And this was very strange because when she came to lay hands on, that's where my body was undulating like this, up and down, like compulsions.
Mm-hmm.
And my field was just expanded like crazy. I was laying down. She intuitively moved away from me because she didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
She was just putting her hands holding energy to me. And I felt I was levitating. I was in between bodies,
Yeah.
the physical and the etheric body. I wasn't really integrating, but something very beautifully. We're talking about different faiths. Christ
Yeah.
came
Mm.
and he told me he was behind my head,
I just got the chills.
and he said, hold still, it shall pass.
Mm.
I couldn't talk, and my breaths are being like very rapid breathing, like you're gonna have a heart attack. That breathing that it goes like really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And and he says, it shall pass. It's a test. Trust in me. And then I saw this huge blue light. I saw Christ in front of me. Beautiful, the hair glowing like a flowy white gown, not like the pictures, with the
Yeah.
crown of thorns, just
Right.
like incredible. His eyes, they were almost bluish, purplish. I mean, so bright. If you can think of unconditional love, there's no word. I
Oh,
can't describe what was happening, because I don't know if you remember, but Christ spent a lot of time in Tibet. There's he was the Son of God. He was Joshua. He was the Christ, but he was still in human form, and he spent time in Tibet and monks. So I just feel what we think of God, Creator. He embraced everything, and he was giving me a gift in that moment of not not understanding what was I receiving. Um, he stayed in my presence for a long time. Many things changed after that.
yeah.
And I really wanted to be more outwardly than in my physical body. It was like the noise bothered me a lot, interest with people. I don't want to see people. I wanted to be quiet, and that's it, like leave me alone.
Right.
Because it's not that I was being rude. It was that I was processing such a high vibration.
Yeah. You're integrating.
I was integrating, but that experience led me to really honor myself more. Just have that love that I feel for humanity. You know, it
I
came as
feel
a
that. I
gift.
feel when you talk about it, I feel
You
you can
know,
feel the energy of
I
because
was
that's to me what Christ consciousness is pure
it's
unconditional
pure
love
unconditional love
for all.
for all human beings. Doesn't matter where you came from or what you believed. It's always there. Is consciousness, and
How beautiful.
it stays with me, Lisa. You know, it's like such
It
a
shows. I mean, I can feel it emanate from you anytime I'm with you or even hear you speak or read your beautiful books.
thank you.
That frequency is in you, within you now, and took you on that path of
Yeah,
that sharing and then guiding others to have that close relationship with our creator.
yeah. Totally is the creator energy, and you know,
Yeah.
I just wish and place every soul in this planet to be a seeker of that light, to seek, because they will find. Seek and you shall find.
Mm-hmm.
It's there for everybody. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's our birthright to remember that we are human, but we are spiritual as well.
Yeah. And then you were given the gift of another book,
Mhm.
Paws of Love.
Oh,
Oh.
my baby.
And do
Yeah,
you know, I have to tell you, I grew up, we had a cat.
yeah,
Loved our kitty, loved our cat. And then that was it. I never had another pet. I never really was into animals, right? But recently, I'm reading the books of, I don't know if you've ever heard of Father Richard Rohr.
oh yes, of course, yes.
I'm really resonating with his books. I'm
I
reading the one
love
on
his books.
reading
They're
Eager to Love
beautiful.
about St.
Yes,
Francis.
yes.
He dedicated one of his books, The Universal Christ, to his dog.
Oh
And
my God.
and Oprah interviewed him about that, I guess because he took a lot of heat, from
Yeah,
people about
of
how
course.
could you dedicate this book about the universal Christ to your dog? The way he explained it, it finally hits me of having a pure understanding of animals, and he's explained it as your pet, your animal allows people, they act as this vessel of you to express love through you. They bring that love through you and to you. And for
All the
some
time.
and for some people that's all they have that does that for them. And it just was like, oh my gosh, I totally understand that now, how
Yeah.
special the unconditional love of your animal
Oh, it's
is,
incredible.
allowing you to give and receive this
Right.
unconditional love that lights up your life. But so many people should read your book, Paws of Love, because there absolutely our animals become they're our little soulmates, our little
They are our soulmates. They are
family
our family.
members.
I know. You know,
Was that difficult for you to write, or was it?
it was very difficult. I was
Yeah.
really grieving for more than, I would say, a
Oh,
year when
oh.
we have to put to sleep our doggy Rexy, French
Mm-hmm.
bulldog. He was
Oh,
always with me in the healing sessions, always with me. You remember all of those
oh,
events at the
yes.
house, and um, um, so he was older. He was 13. You
Oh,
know, at that time, they lose their sight, their bowel movement. They don't want to eat. He didn't eat for a week. So I
oh.
knew something was really wrong. And I told the vet, I don't want him suffering. If animals know that it's getting closer to their time,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to wait really for him to suffer um, and get worse. So actually, we did a crystal ball ceremony at my house. I sage him. I thank him for
Oh,
everything that he has been with us.
oh, beautiful.
When the vet came to the house, and my son Alexis, he got the hamburger for him, a big pack. He cut it
Oh,
in pieces, and that was his last meal because I never gave my dog a hamburger. Okay,
oh my
and he
goodness.
went quietly to the kitchen, sniffed it, ate it, which he didn't eat for a week because he doesn't want to eat anymore. He went to the bathroom, and then he looked at me. Okay, I'm ready. He looked at me, and I knew that he was saying, okay, it's time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the hardest thing to put an animal to sleep. Oh my God.
Oh
It's
yeah.
um but it was the right decisions for us
Yeah.
to let him be at peace. And
Mm-hmm.
immediately I felt his soul. I could smell him. And I was sleeping with his little blanket in my bed because I was crying like crazy all the time. I was so
Oh,
sad. I didn't want to go
oh,
anywhere, do anything. I was really sad. My
oh.
husband was very sad too. Um, so, so I was just, trying to figure out how come it hurts so much
Oh,
because he was my little soulmate,
he
he
was.
was my companion all the time, and he was so much fun and so cute and caring. So I will smell him. He started giving me signs. The lights were on and off, and I say, "I know, Rexy, you're here." And I
Oh,
tried more and more and more, and then he started talking to me psychically, and he says, "Okay, start writing this down because I'm gonna give you this to write, the 7 steps of grieving."
yes.
No idea what he was talking about. Why 7 steps or 1 step or 2 steps? Um, I so that helped me heal. Just write down whatever was happening. The message,
Yeah.
the story of when I was in Sedona and I
Oh,
went to the vortexes of. Did I tell you the story?
no, you tell the story. I don't think you've told me
Oh,
the story.
no? Okay. It's part
No.
of the book. So the books
Oh,
are in
good.
Amazon, for
Yes.
anybody who wants to get them.
Yes, I'm going to leave the links to all your books.
Yeah. So Paws of Love. So I was with the shaman going to Vortex of Energy in Sedona. And we went to a different vortex that he's never been there before. So he says, okay, you need to go here. I stood up, started meditating. I actually went out of body and I saw a tunnel of light opening. Literally a tunnel of light, a vortex of light, Lisa. And I'm looking up to these mountains and the heavens with my eyes closed. And then I hear something coming, a bright light coming towards me.
Mm-hmm.
Rex came from the tunnel of light, manifested a physical body at that time so I can recognize him, that it was him, and jump into my arms. And I could although it's his etheric body, I could still feel it.
Oh,
He told me, you have to let go this sadness. You know it's not the truth. And he says, you're gonna see my real truth, who I am. You know I couldn't fit in the body of this little doggy that you love so much. But I'm
oh,
one of your spiritual guides. And he showed his true form, not the doggy form, the ascended master form. And at that time, he says, that's it. No more sadness. I'm always, always with you. He turned around, the tunnel closed. I was like shaking in spiraling physical motion
yeah.
when this was happening, which I don't remember. But my guide who came to go to the vortex, he says, you need to come back, you need to come back, you need to come back. I was in the fifth dimension. I wasn't even here. But that closing of knowing that our beautiful animals, they have souls. And they
They do.
feed for that little soul for a little while. And the true essence is whatever you need to see, if you have that ability to see or to know. And for some people, they only need to know that it's love. At the end of the day, have you loved well? It's love.
It's love.
So I do write about the afterlife of animals because he showed me that there is a gate to heaven and there's a dimension of light with millions of souls go back, and they
Mm.
have the free will to choose to reincarnate back to the body or to stay there being an angel or a helper or an ascended master, whatever is their divine right, or whatever they choose, to a lesson that perhaps they want to experience again on earth, they come back. If they have to do something like a much higher work, higher
Hmm.
vibration, they stay. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. And I think that your book is going to help so many people because when they lose their pets, their animals, they're absolutely
You're very
devastated.
sad. That it hurts so much because it's part of you. But
Hmm.
definitely, that was my intention of
Yeah, and
writing that to help another person in grieving.
and it will because there's so many people who that's their vessel of love. That's who they have. You
Yeah,
know, some many people don't have, people
exactly.
around them or families, Um, and that's their strength is their little soulmates. Um, so I'm going to put the link to that book because I know your book will help so many people
Wonderful. Thank
who
you, Lisa.
get through that time. What I wanted to ask you, and I know I'm watching the time here. We're almost at an hour already. Can you believe that?
So much fun.
And maybe we'll have to do this again and we'll have a part two. But
I'll be
I
on.
wanted to ask you because today in the world, that we're living in, as light workers, as empaths, we could feel this collective energy of what's going on in the world of fear, you know, just this collective energy of uncertainty, of fear, of anger, of everything. And how can we get through this? How can we as light workers show up? And what is our role in all of this? And do you feel, how are you feeling? Do you feel
Very
the
good
collective?
question, Lisa. You
Yeah.
are right. There is uncertainty and fear, but it's been here for forever.
Yeah.
Now more. And I'll tell you why. Because people are relying a lot on superficial information, on artificial intelligence, to solve and ask. It's wonderful, but within reason.
Yeah.
Uh, but they're taking so much time of listening gossip and nonsense, and want to have an opinion of things that they shouldn't concern them. because you don't know exactly what is written in the newspaper or the news or the tabloids, because you don't know that person. And those
Yeah.
people are being hurt energetically by all of these horrible thoughts of people or
Yeah.
criticism. I feel every day I do surround the world with light. In my prayer, in my meditation, I bring my heart open and imagine this beautiful beam of light, and I just surround like this with my hands every being, every soul, and just beaming. In Reiki, we send the light to the world because all the light workers, we are united doing our work together
Hmm.
energetically, in faith, in thought, in intention, in our hearts, basically. But there's a lot of souls who are not ready and chose not to evolve. And those souls, they have a free will. They chose to be the way that they are. And we cannot interfere. We could be kind and perhaps be of help if people ask, you
Right.
know, to give them an advice or something that make them feel better, and not people are getting sick because of that.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of mental health sickness right now in the planet and many other
Extremely.
things.
Yeah.
I do watch the news a little bit, not
Hmm.
too much.
Hmm. Me
In
too.
the morning, a little bit, what's going on, weather, this, that, and
Yeah.
then I don't go back to the social media or the news or anything. Once in a while, you know me, I put a beautiful thing here and there in Facebook, and I
Yep.
don't even do
Yep.
it every day.
Right.
Whenever I was guided, like today, I did something about gratitude. I
Hmm.
posted it, and I felt I got that message. I wrote it down and make somebody else happy.
Yes.
So,
That's,
um,
I try to be mindful of
very mindful.
why, showing up when I'm called to either share something inspiring, something helpful, or sharing some.
You're
No,
doing a
actually,
beautiful
that's it. Yeah,
job.
I try to anchor it in something. I'm sharing something inspiring or something helpful.
But you
Um,
know what, Lisa? You're
yeah.
doing it, and you're showing up, and you're being a kind, beautiful soul that you are.
Thank
And
you.
I love you.
Oh,
You're amazing, and that's the way how we can. We cannot change.
yeah.
It has to be part of the Earth evolution. That's the way I feel. But we can, as light worker, as visit more what is called a higher dimension, not to think of the world as a whole, but
Hmm.
as a beautiful Gaia entity of love, and think of all the beautiful places you have visited in nature. That's what we want to focus on. The mountains, the trees, the waters, the ocean, not to pay attention of the pollution, what's causing into the algae and what's causing into the coral reef. Don't focus on what is inevitable. Yeah,
Right.
there's pollution, there's bad stuff that happen. Not every human is kind to our planet, okay?
Yeah.
But we can keep on in our meditation, in our hearts, and in Reiki, and in energy. Before you do anything for yourself, just put it into the collective. And you know how the waves of the ocean feel, how the wind feel, how the trees are bringing this oxygen. So we give back love and offering. We can put a little paper and offering and put it in a tree. Do an offering to our planet, because she's sustaining all of these beautiful souls.
Hmm. That's beautiful. I love that. I thank you so much. Do you think there's more
Oh,
books to come? What do you think? Out of you?
mm. Hey,
Maybe, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Haven't thought of that in a long time, but
Yeah.
I just feel that just having these connections with people and this presence and talking about it is like illuminates our flame, our inner radiance,
I feel it too. Yeah, no, it's
Feel it?
important. It's
I'm feeling it
important.
too.
And
Yeah,
I just want to say that I'm so grateful for you, and I honor you and your authenticity, your humility as a guide, as a teacher, which I believe is such a beautiful quality. And it's how I recognize, you know, a beautiful teacher grounded in humility and love and service.
thank
And I can't wait to see how you continue to grow and evolve, and all that you share. And I'm so grateful I was able to share you
you. Oh,
today with
course,
everybody. And
of
I hope
course.
we could do it again.
Good again. I'm very honored to you,
Thank you.
to all the people that we know, your
Hmm.
friends and family, yoga community, the
Yes.
light workers, healing touch of the Reiki people in our planet, all the light workers and light seeing, to know that we truly are one and we're blessed. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for
Thank you.
sharing this unity in this day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.